Hey, everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Josh Jordan. You can hear us on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Josh also does a lot of work at SportsMapHouston.com. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Roosh Williams has reported this week that DeAndre Hopkins would be open to returning. You want to see DeAndre Hopkins in Texans uniform again?
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, he improves the room. There's no question about it. But there aren't a lot of guys that wouldn't improve that room. It's a really, really bad room. But I'm not sure that DeAndre Hopkins is the right kind of guy. I mean, don't you already have a bunch of guys that can't get open?
Okay, well, let's address that. What's so great about this type of system is it gets wide receivers open. It gives them opportunities for run after catch. So if it schemes them open a little bit, then I'm all for it. And I think back to how much Hopkins helped Deshaun Watson his rookie year. And then I also look back at when Hopkins was a rookie, it was Kubiak. So he's at least worked in a system like this before. He's close with Andre Johnson. I wonder if Andre Johnson, who's, kind of gotten back close again with the Texans, he's in good graces with them now, him and D'Amico. I wonder if Andre's kind of, hey, D-Hop, what about Houston? I wonder if they're kind of talking behind the scenes.
Well, allegedly he likes C.J. Stroud. Mm-hmm. But is he coming back for the right reasons? Is he coming back because he likes the Houston lifestyle, because he had fun here, because it was a good time, and he wants to be back here because of that? Because there were a lot of stories swirling around DeAndre Hopkins and his extracurricular activities while he was here in the city of Houston. Is that the reason? He just didn't like Arizona? Because there's a rumor out there that DeAndre Hopkins could have played the last couple of games and decided not to. And if that's the case, you know what? DeAndre Hopkins is not somebody that that's the kind of guy I want in a young wide receiver room.
I looked into that a little bit, and there were some reports that maybe Arizona kind of wanted that, because if we think back to that point of the season, the last two games, it wasn't even Colt McCoy anymore. He was knocked out. They were down to their third-string quarterback, and a lot of the talk was that Arizona just wanted a higher draft pick, and also if they did want to deal Hop, they didn't want to risk him getting out there and getting injured. So I'm not so sure that it was just DeAndre that wanted that to be the case.
Well, here's the deal, is I had heard behind the scenes that he thought that DeAndre Hopkins thought he was going to Kansas City. He has talked about the quarterbacks that he really, really likes. You know who wasn't on that list? C.J. Stroud. You know who's on that list is really, really good quarterbacks where you have a chance to win. Is he just using Houston as leverage to go to a place and get more money, get OBJ-type money?
He could be, but, that's just smart business. There's nothing wrong with trying to get as many teams interested in you as possible and then taking whichever opportunity sounds the most appealing to you. So I'm not going to blame him for that. If he ups the price to get some other team to pay him more, oh, well, that doesn't hurt the Texans.
No.
But I will say this, I'd only like to see maybe a 2-year deal, or if it's a 3-year deal, I want to be able to get out of it after 2. He's going to be 31 years old, but I look at Robert Woods on the team. He only had like one game with 80 yards last year, and he's had 2 1,000-yard seasons in his career. Hop was really good when he came back last year. I think the first 4 out of 5 games he had over 90 yards, something like that. So he's been really terrific. So they could use him. I just don't want him to commit to some long-term deal where they're stuck with it.
There's a game out there called Let's Combine the Titans and the Texans wide receivers and see where they rank in the league, and they're last with both wide receiver rooms. Yes, DeAndre Hopkins would improve that room. Yes, DeAndre Hopkins might be really good for C.J. Stroud. He'll make some catches on contested balls, and he's going to throw some contested balls. But is DeAndre Hopkins, is he going to be, like you said, is he going to want a 4-year deal? Does he going to want, I don't know, $10, $12 million a year? If those are the cases, I don't want DeAndre Hopkins. You know what? The Texans aren't ready to win now. DeAndre Hopkins should go to a team like Kansas City that could use another wide receiver, or Buffalo that could use another wide receiver. The Texans don't need that. Not that kind of guy.
I think DeAndre's starting to figure out that those teams are right against the cap. Maybe they don't want to redo a bunch of contracts, whereas the Texans, I believe they have the most cap space out of everybody next year, not this year. So they could do some kind of deal where he doesn't make a ton this year and they backload it to where he gets a bunch of guaranteed money next year if the Texans really want to make that work. So maybe Hopkins is reading the room and maybe these top teams aren't looking to pay me. Maybe the Texans are my best option.
Yeah, well, I want a guy who wants to win more than anything. That's what I want, and I'm not sure DeAndre Hopkins is that guy.